Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elconin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything that you need to start your trading day. Good morning, traders and investors. Welcome to this Monday edition of Benzinga's PreMarket Prep here with Joel Elconin and Dennis Dick. We got a good show for you folks today. Two guests on the docket. First up at 8:15 will be Stan Bokov. He is the COO of TradingView, and then at 8:35 we're joined by Tommy Lackey. As we are every Monday, he's the managing partner and portfolio manager at Relativity Capital Advisors. Our top story of the day is this Intel Mobileye deal. We're going to talk about that. Also, it is triple witch week. We have the Fed coming up on Wednesday. We're going to talk about the stocks that are leaving and joining the S&P 500 as well. Joel, how was your weekend? How the S&P is doing? But I know before that you had a good weekend.
I had a great weekend. Watched a lot of basketball. Michigan wins the Big Ten tournament in the big dance here. We got to wake everybody up here. Everyone's a little sleepy with the daylight savings here. We got to wake Dennis up a little bit. But big week. We got a big volatile week. We have the Fed. We have triple witch. So got a lot of good things to look forward to. But right now, S&Ps are kind of quiet. Week close, or little bit of a weekday on Friday. Pre-market high, 69.25. Nothing special there. I'm looking at the close at 68.50, as well as the low from Friday, and that was at 59 even. We have crude trading lower by 17 cents at 48.32. That lost the $50 level in a hurry. See if we can find some support. And actually, in this one, we'll start looking in the lower 47 handle. That's why when OPEC, I was right around here. Well, I guess basis this contract, it's still a few bucks away. The $45 levels when OPEC got going. And gold back over $1,200. Silver over $17. Dennis, do they have daylight savings in Canada?
Yeah, they do. And you know what? It's hitting me. I feel like I got jet lag here. I don't know. I thought I felt pretty good yesterday. The funny thing is today I feel like I got hit by a truck. I am tired here this morning. So you're going to have to wake me up, guys. Definitely sleepy Monday morning here for me with the daylight savings time.
And I think Tracy is out in Arizona, and she said something to the effect that they don't do that.
I don't think they do it, do they?
Right,
in Arizona?
No, they don't.
So good.
Are they the only
Tracy.
state that doesn't do daylight savings
I think there's
time?
one other state, but it's escaping me right now.
Do you want to hear my complaint about daylight savings?
Yeah, tell me your complaint. I'm hurting from it. So I'm not feeling the love for daylight savings time. Tell me.
I grew up in Monroe, right, which is just over the Michigan border, but I went to religious school in Toledo, right? And there was a point where one of us was on daylight savings and the other one wasn't. So I even had to get up an hour earlier to go to Sunday school. So that's my biggest complaint about it. But what a deal. Did anybody see this Mobileye Intel deal coming?
I know Citron didn't see it coming. So you're talking Citron here this morning. So give us the news here first, Spencer. The big purchase here this morning, if you're just waking up right now, slept in from the daylight savings time. Mobileye trade up 31% here this morning. Tell us the news.
Yep, this is broken by Israel news outlet The Marker. Intel to acquire Mobileye for $15.3 billion. That equates to $63.54 per share in cash.
Intel, the big purchase here, MBLY, and we know Citron issued that report with their price target of $35 just, I believe, last month. So if they are short Mobileye, they are hurting here this morning with this takeover here. I mean, Citron gets it right a lot of times, and sometimes funny things can happen, and, this thing gets taken over here over the weekend. I mean, I guess that's the risk of, being short, companies that, and even like Red Dog was saying, T3 Live, innovative company, growth company here. They got scooped up. I mean, you get an old tech company here that's looking for new tech.
Autonomous vehicles, right? I mean, a buddy of mine was talking over the weekend about in so many years it could be autonomous trucking. Drivers are going to be out of work. I mean, this is direction things are going in. For me, being an old guy, it's hard for me to imagine it. But what's interesting about this takeout price, I see 64.20 traded here just a little bit ago, back at 62.19.
This thing traded over the takeout price?
Stop. Yep.
Come on.
What did you say it was? 63.
60. It's like 63.54.
It traded up to 64.48. No, 64.48 was the all-time
That
high.
was the all-time high. What's the pre-market high?
64.20.
So it's traded over the pre-market high, or over the takeout price. Why do people do that? Do they think there's a better deal? Now it's come back down to 62.23. But man, that seems crazy when these stocks want to do that. Trade over the takeout price. But well,
I don't know.
back down to 62.23. So it's a good way to throw away $2 by buying that thing or almost $1 over the takeout price.
And Intel just has not been acting great since it had a good report, and that had a pretty good range here, 35.01. That's your pre-market low. That's just above the low of the move here. I don't know what happened on this day when they took it to 34.84, but I think 35 is going to be a long-term level. I'm going to be keeping an eye on Intel here. It's a big purchase. I guess not a huge purchase though.
Not enormous for them. I mean, Intel has a ton of cash. So, you look at companies and this old school tech just basically looking for growth. I mean, I kind of get it. So I don't hate this purchase for Intel. I'm not an Intel shareholder. If I was, though, this is a stock. It's got a nice dividend, 2.9%. I think on a pullback here, if it was to pull back over $1, maybe even test that low, 34.84, I think there's some buyers still lurking around here in Intel. There's value investors that like these old school tech stocks. And here you're getting a stock for 50 cents off. I know they paid a nice premium there, but when you put it in perspective, how much was the deal, Spencer? The total the
16.
It was 15. The value is 15.3.
Yeah, the value.
Yeah,
of it.
$15.3 billion.
Okay, so you're talking on a market cap of $169 billion. So you're talking almost, actually, if you think about that, it's almost 10% of the market cap. So they're paying a premium, and we know in this market they do often hit the acquirer, so it's not surprising that Intel's trading down. I'm just saying they really start to rocket, start to test like the 34.84 low from February 10th. I think you might see a bounce level there.
All right, sympathy plays.
Tough one. Brentster, though, saving us on the desk, he was saying Autoliv, ALV.
There really aren't many. I mean, what Mobileye does is pretty niche, right? They're the cameras for the cars, right?
Yep.
Right.
Tesla's trading higher on it, though. Like maybe, this is a vote of confidence to, autonomous cars. And we know Tesla's maybe, going to be trying to lead the way there. So we do have Tesla trading up $2 here, I believe, on this news. Obviously, nobody's coming and buying Tesla just because Mobileye got bought. But Tesla's up, and you said ALV is trading higher as well here in the pre-market. It's trading up $2.37.
Yeah, 107.09. That seems to be getting a little bit. Just the name, the people are probably, I need something to buy, and that's it. Getting into a real funky area here because we had a gap down. Pre-market high is 107.09. We've backed off. They must not have had a good report because you got air. Nothing but air between 108 and 114, but I don't know if it's going to get up into that today.
And remember, this is traded as this is a European company, so it's trading in an active market over in Europe right now. So you'll see this bid offer move quite actively as it's trading over in Europe.
I don't see ADR or ADS.
I don't know how it trades, but I know this is a European company. Where are they based, Spencer? Can you quick look that up? ALV? I know it's Europe.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Mobileye still. ALV,
no.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Let's go find that. Trusty Benzinger Pro has all that information.
ALV is in... Good question. Oh, they're in Stockholm.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's trading actively over in Europe right now. You can see the bid offers, and and I've always pointed this out. You can see this is one thing you can thank high frequency traders for. It gives you a little bit of a tighter market. You can see them holding that 20-cent market here in ALV as it moves up and down. So it's probably trading worth a relative valuation about 106.24. So the bid 14, they're off for 37 all day long as they're trying to just make markets there. So it's pretty much stays 20-cent wide in the pre-market.
All right, let's stick with the chip stocks here, and AMD getting added to the S&P 500.
Yeah, this was announced after the close on Friday. AMD got a huge lift here from 14 up to over $14.60. It's come off those highs a little bit here now, but we know when something gets added to the S&P, it's usually worth 3 to 5%, depending on sentiment and how. But this stock's pretty loved by the street now as well, so it's up 3.81% added to the S&P 500. The other stocks that are going into, so this wasn't the only change. RJF is going in, and also ARE is going in. Full disclosure, I do have a small position in ARE. First Solar coming out, URBN coming out and FTR coming out of the S&P 500. So, but AMD is the big one. Everybody's talking about this one this morning. Add to the S&P 500.
Yeah, we hit 14.99. We backed off here. Big pressure from that offering at 13.70. Took the stock into the $12 handle. Man, I don't know. Now, they did get quite a 50% retracement, but to me, with that pre-market high at 14.99, and then the third highest high of the move is just over 15. I'll be keeping an eye on that. Let's see. Was it 15 on the nose? Nope, 1509. That was your high on March 1st. High of the move, 1555 in AMD.
Stock Hunter, just quickly, he's talking, NVIDIA with the sympathy play, and a lot of people, like I've said, do pair trade AMD with NVIDIA. Now, with NVIDIA, I just said it wrong. Daylight savings time, I'll blame that on. But one thing to remember here is sympathy works better when you have a fundamental announcement from the company, like earnings are going to be better, or guidance is good, or something else is good, as opposed to just getting out of the S&P 500, because that is very company specific. AMD is, trading up because it's getting added to an index. That's not really much to do with company fundamentals in itself. So that's why I don't think you see the sympathy move that you might typically see when AMD is trading up. So what I'm saying is I don't think NVIDIA will have the type of sympathy move that it would have had if this was more of a company specific news coming out of AMD, but this is just news coming from the S&P. So NVIDIA actually trading down here in the pre-market, not having any sympathy move with AMD, and I agree with that.
Remember we and Sean on, was it the last day of the trading year, and we were talking about the short of the year, and he said NVIDIA. He said he thought they may have a
NVIDIA.
NVIDIA. Oh,
NVIDIA or NVIDIA, not no. No, I blame daylight savings time. I don't know what you're blaming because you said you felt good today.
uh, this looks like a little bit of a broken chart here. You had the last good earnings report. They popped it up, and now it's even the last two pops. You got under 100, struggling to get back over 100. So we'll see how that trades today. Let's do one stock here for Downward Dog. He wants to know what we think of JCI Johnson Controls, and my first thought here is this is kind of a little bit of a sloppy chart, a couple big ranges, but looks like you had that low just over 39. Buyers have stepped up to the 40 and a half level. Guess you're looking at a swing trade at 41. You're risking $2. I think you got to be out under 39. Dennis, any thoughts on JCI?
Well, JCI also, I guess, Goldman Sachs looking at the charts here too. They are downgrading the stock here today. So
Oh,
JCI has not traded yet this morning, but is offered down at 41.14 and is getting downgraded Goldman Sachs from buy to neutral here this morning. So that is something to keep in mind here. JCI probably, when you get a Goldman downgrade, it's usually worth at least 1%. So I'd imagine this is probably going to trade in the mid 40s today.
all right. Let's take our first break of the day and bring on Stan Bokov. He is COO of TradingView, and Mr. Shaheen likes his charts. We'll be right back with Stan. Welcome back, traders and investors. We're trying to locate Mr. Bokov, but we're going to be back here with Dennis, and we're going to talk some ratings.
Yeah, lots of actually interesting ones here this morning. So obviously, we just talked RJF or JCI. We just talked, but AIG getting downgraded to sell here at Deutsche Bank this morning, and that's a big one here. And AIG is actually ex-dividend here as well. So 63.08 was the close, the adjusted close, 62.76. So the stock is now 62.01 in the pre-market. Actually bid at 62.21 here, but losing about 1% here on the Deutsche Bank downgrade.
Uh, Man, oh man, had a recovery off the 60 and a half low, got close to 65. Let's look at under $62. I don't know if we've traded. We traded 62.01 in the pre-market. Dennis said it was bid above that level. I'm keeping an eye on 61.81. That was your February 17th low.
Boeing also downgraded here this morning from Morgan Stanley. Ugly candle for Boeing on Friday. That continues here this morning. Stock train down another $1.50 here. And this chart kind of looks broken.
Boeing had a great run here. I see we ticked 176 in the pre-market. Let's look at the daily chart. I mean, draw a trend line off that 185.71 high. Looks like you could be working on that one for a while. Do see some lows. How low have we gotten it here? I said 176 in the pre-market. And what's the firm doing the downgrade, Dennis?
Morgan is.
Ooh,
So it's a big
Morgan.
one.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, Morgan's one of the big ones. Very influential, obviously.
All right. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, the big run up here. So, I'm just going
Keep
to
it.
jump in because
Sure.
Joel's still on daylight savings time. 160 to 185, so it's 25 points. That's the run you had in February. So I'm taking this is what you would normally say, Joel. So, 50% retracement of that, 12 and a half box off 185. Where does that get you? Give me that mirror math. Was it 172, 173?
160 to 185. That's 25, 12 and a half, 172 and a
Joel
half.
repeating me now. He's on daylight. Okay, so what's that? What's the math?
172 and a half.
See? So that's your 50% retracement of the recent
Yeah,
move.
I
Then
don't know.
170, like I'm just
There
looking
you
longer
go.
term here. We're ways away from these numbers, but just saying there's a lot of air below. I would say at least the 50% retracement. So I think I'm hands off on this one right now.
And Boeing, let's see what. Also, let me give you one daily level here. Just above. Oh, no, it's not going to get to 177 today. I mean, there's even a couple
Trading
lows.
177 right now. What are you talking about?
Oh man, I got to get.
Joel, you just
170.
got to, okay, we're stopping for now.
170.
Joel just got to tell me how good he felt here this morning.
Double bottom at 174.
This is late onset from the hour off.
In 4 basketball games. Double bottom at 174. Won't see 174 today.
Well, at least your basketball team won.
Yes. And Dennis, I said 170. I didn't say we wouldn't see 177. I said we wouldn't see 170. You're not listening.
Check the tape. Marvel Technology MRVL catching an upgrade from Needham to a buy. Stock at a nice candle on Friday. That candle is continuing. Well, the new candle is going to look just as good, it looks like. Stock trading up another 2.5% here. MRVL.
All right, let's take a look at MRVL. As Dennis said, trading up in the pre-market here. Pre-market high comes in at 1689. That takes out Friday's high is 1656. So we'll use that 1656 as minor support. Boy, 16.7. Man, there's just some big numbers here. This is a weekly going back to 2015. I see a high at 1678. So this could be a major breakout to the upside in Marvel Technology Group.
Spencer's bunch of other smaller ones. Spencer, what do you like? Which ones do you want to go to? You got Race getting initiated with a buy at Jefferies. That's Ferrari, obviously. Gas reiterated with a buy at Wunderlich. GameStop getting downgraded at Telsey Advisors.
Finisar upgraded by Raymond James, but Starbucks maintained everything. Thanks, Wedbush. They announced they're maintaining their rating and their price target on Starbucks. Thanks for the heads up. GameStop.
Yeah, we'll ignore the maintain.
GameStop downgraded at Telsey Advisory Group. Guess same thing. I Wunderlich reiterated. Ferrari, we said that already. So those are the big ones.
Let's talk Ferrari. So RACE initiated coverage, Jeffries, with a buy on it. RACE is a stock that has been consolidating nicely around the $65 area. Again, this trades over here. Obviously, this trades over in Europe as the primary market. You can see how active the bid and offer. That's why it changes so much because it's just HFT arbitrage, just trading it off of the European price. But looking at the price here, though, $65 has been major support for this thing. It's been in a little bit of a consolidation period. We had a nice run from December up to March from when we went for the $53 up to 65. And just digesting that move here, Joel. What are you thinking on the technicals on
Only one number.
RACE?
Only one number. 66.74. That's your all-time high. That was made in February. I believe you had your all-time closing high in that area as well. But 66.74, that's your February high. That's really the only number on the
All right,
upside.
I want to take a quick break and try to grab stand again, so we'll be
Sure.
right back.
Welcome back, traders and investors, to Benzinga's pre-market prep. We're still trying to locate Stan here, but first we're going to cover an earnings stock. Spencer, what earnings stock
I
would you
think
like to?
the only notable one that jumped out to me today was Del Taco, Q4 EPS 20 cents
What's the
is
symbol on that?
Taco.
Oh, great ticker symbol.
Great ticker symbol. 20 cents is in line with the estimate. It sells 150.2 mil versus 149.9, so a slight beat on the sales number for Q4.
TACO trained down about 1.5% here in the pre-market. Got hit hard there in February. You can see the landslide, 14.50 down to almost $12. So that's the level it needs to hold. It needs to hold that $12 psychological level. It has held up okay here in the pre-market, but is offered 12.45. Best bid is way down 11.75 though. So $12 it needs to hold. And somebody's listening to the show because they just bid 6,000 at $12 as we were talking.
All right, let's just take a look at Taco here. Did have a bunch of lows in the $12 area. I just have to respect that. I see it trading 12.40. I see a bunch of lows 12.13, 12.17, 12.21,
So you
12.11.
concur.
Yep, I concur with that.
$12. Just jumping over
Oh wait,
here
I,
to
I've I have one news item
yeah.
I want to hit on actually. Herbalife,
Yeah.
Form 4 from this morning shows that Carl Icahn has acquired some more shares in Herbalife, and his stake is now up to 24.57%.
Obviously wasn't listening to our Raven guest there last week because he really we had the 15-minute bash session of Herbalife. Had a good candle though on Friday. It really got hit early and actually came back. Ended up closing in the green. I guess you could call that. Was it a red dog reversal? It was close. Was it? Let's just check it. 57, 52, 53, 52, 55. Missed it by 2 cents. The red dog reversal looks like, but nice candle though for Herbalife. Nice comeback and is trading up here on Carl Icahn's news.
Man, he's buying more and buying more here. I don't know.
What he
53.
does,
Yeah,
and he's wrong. He adds.
yeah, 53 even. I don't know. Once you just say you got some overhead supply in this one,
Oh yeah,
coming
all over
back
the
up
place.
here, just pick your daily highs and find some targets on the upside. Lots from 56 down to 50 and a half pretty quickly. So I don't know. It's maybe going back up, but Kyle's been a little bit of a fade lately.
Yeah, the one thing though, if you're just coming in here shorting it this morning,
Yeah.
you do have some air because we've been down for one, two, three, four. We were down for 5 straight days before we get that one candle. That's a little bit higher. That movie's obviously coming out, so maybe some people selling ahead of that. I don't. What was the date? What did you say the date was on that movie again? That's gonna bash
Well, it
Herbalife.
it came out,
It's out now.
I believe on Friday in
Oh, it is out
in
now.
select theaters. Yeah, but then I'm
Okay.
not sure it's out on like Netflix yet.
I wonder if that's like a sell-on rumor, buy-on news thing because Friday, and then now it's getting him. Maybe Carl's like, I'm gonna buy this on the news too. So, in any regard here, you kind of shortening the hole. That's the only problem. Like, if it got back up to the 56, it looks a lot nicer than 53.90. Don't you think, Joel? Aren't you a little chasing it still? If you just decide to randomly short it at 52.5 or 53 bucks,
I don't know. This is such a newsy stock
it
and
is too.
everything. I
It's a
mean,
great point.
you put a position on and then, boom,
Yeah,
it comes out one way or another. Quoth the Raven we had on, was that
yeah.
Friday that we had him
I think
on?
was it Friday or Thursday?
Thursday.
And
Friday we
obviously,
had.
he's had the 15 minutes of bearishness on it. So, and it did go down for a day and a half after that. So, nice bounce back day for it on Friday though.
Okay. All
Jumping
right.
over here to the chat, Billabong wants to know about KTOS. This is not a company that I follow, but we can do a technical on anything here on Benzinga's pre-market prep. And I'll tell you, $7 was the level we got down to in December. We did breach it early in January, got down to 683. But in this decimal world, I just say the big whole numbers is 7. You got up to 9, come back down there. This is the first time really back down here. I think 7 could be a bounce level. 701 on Friday. We're trading at 706 here this morning, so I don't mind the stock at $7. I mean, I put my stop there, takes out the 683, maybe give yourself a dime, 673, but $7 could be a nice bounce level.
All right. I changed my chart to 4 hour there. That doesn't look good, but have to agree. Couple lows here, maybe institution accumulating, but probably earnings knocked it down for the gap here between 760 and $8, but just doesn't look like you have much of a catalyst here in Kratos Defense and Security SOL.
All right, now we got Stan. Third time's a charm. So
Excellent.
we'll be right back. One final time.
Welcome back, traders and investors, to Benzinga's pre-market prep, brought to you by Benzinga Pro. I'm your co-host Joel Alcon, along with Dennis Dick, Spencer Israel, and we have Stan Bokov on the line. And Stan has a product that Nick Shaheen's a big fan of, TradingView. Stan, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
All right, glad we got you on the show here from the Windy City. So before we go into your product here, give us a little bit of your background and how you ended up with this company.
Sure, absolutely. So out of uni, I went and started working for a company called Multicharts, which was developing desktop software. And then that's where I learned the ropes. And then after the fact, my co-founders and I, we noticed a problem in the markets. So there was two tendencies. One is for software to move into the cloud. So people didn't want to install stuff anymore. They wanted to work on Macs and such. So they needed a browser-based solution for charting and trading. And the second is people felt isolated. So all these people sitting there reading news. Your guys' channel and programs like this, they bring traders together. But there's not too many, right? Most people are pretty isolated.
Correct.
And so we wanted to build something where we would let them talk to each other, lateral communication. And hence TradingView was born. TradingView, we've been building it for 5 years. And, people are quite enjoying it quite a lot because it has both the charts, that all you need is a browser, pretty awesome charts too. And the second piece is the social aspect. So they can talk to each other, public chats, private chats, publish ideas, exchange knowledge, that sort of thing.
And I'm on your site here, and is the chat under the ideas part?
So the chat is when you're actually looking at a chart. So when you
Oh,
open a
okay.
chart, right, then there's a right-hand toolbar that's got all sorts of cool stuff. It's got an economic calendar, your own watch list, hot lists, and it's got tabs for news and public chats and private messaging.
And how many people do you have on the system?
So we've been growing quite a bit, on average 5 to 7% every month
Wow.
since we started. And today we've got just over 1.4 million monthly active users. Now, these people come to TradingView on average 8 times a month. They spend on average 18 minutes per visit, and 89% of the audience is returning. So it's a very large, dedicated community from over 100 different countries in the world every single month.
And can you execute from the platform? Do you have any relationship with any clearing firms where you can just point and click from the chart and route it right to to your brokerage firm?
You actually can. So far, we've hooked up with CQG and FXCM. So a bunch of futures brokerages and clearing firms that have a CQG backend, you can log in with the login password that you got and trade. It pulls in your account info, it reflects it in other platforms like CQG Trader and so on. Same for FXCM, and we're soon adding more. Forex.com, I believe, is next, then Oanda, and then we'd love to add as many as possible. Interactive brokers and so on.
Hi,
Coming in.
Stan. Dennis Dick. I just got a quick question here, too. I'm just looking at your site here as well. And this is one, we obviously from Nick, because he uses it and he posts these charts, onto our site, too, just quickly. And it's pretty cool the way it works. You got an ideas tab here. And what is this all about? I've seen all these charts here in the last few minutes that are posted. Is this just people that, users coming in and they like the setup and they're showing the idea?
That's right. It's all user-generated content. And there's a whole bunch of ideas posted almost every minute now. And you can filter them based on asset class or symbol that you're interested in. So if you're interested in ideas about Twitter or Facebook or whatever stock or currency or futures, Bitcoin you're interested in, just search it up and you'll get a stream of what people think about that particular stock or instrument.
And can the users interact with each other, or do you just see someone's? I mean, that's the whole idea of social. So I see Andy M has an idea here and something about the British pound. You message back and forth between each other?
So you can do a bunch of things. First, you can click on the author's. You can open the author's profile by clicking on his or her name. It'll take you to a page where you get more info about the author. So it's not just some random person on the internet. It's anonymous. You can figure out if this person knows what they're talking about, sort of. What do they post most about? On their profile, you can message them or you can follow them. So you get notified when they post something else. Then you can also like the idea. You can comment on it. You can respond with your own. And so does the cycle of learning go, so to speak.
Very interesting. Now talk about the different levels. Now you have the free platform, then you have some upgrades. Tell us about the different kind of programs that you have.
Sure. So TradingView is one way to describe it. It's LinkedIn for traders and investors. So we actually operate on a similar model. It's a freemium software as a service model where most of the site is free for most people. But if you want a little extra, we've got 3 plans, Pro Plus, and Premium. Each one of those gives you more features for your analytics platform. It doesn't improve the social aspect in any way because we unlock the entire social thing from the get-go. But let's say you want Pro, it's $10 a month if you prepay for 2 years, or $15 if you go month to month. And for example, it's got, more server-side alerts, more indicators per chart. You can save more layouts. You can do charts per layout, enhanced watch lists. And that stuff essentially increases the higher plan you go. So Pro Plus has more charts per layout. You can use it on 2 devices at the same time, like your phone and your computer, your one account. You can do indicator and indicator. Like there's all these features. There's about 10 of them. And they just get progressively, you get more for what you need. So it's really scalable. People can just really grab what suits their style and their needs.
Is there a mobile app?
The mobile app. So TradingView is a web app. It's responsive, so you can use it from your phone or iPad. You just open our site and it kind of adapts. So it changes size, like it does the different icons thing. So it's not a true mobile app. Like it's not native to iOS or Android. But we are working on an iOS app first that's in beta now. Should be out hopefully in a couple months. And this is going to make it a little easier for people with iPhones to chat, to search ideas, to just really be plugged in. And once we gather feedback, once we get that all polished and shiny, we'll do the Android as well.
And you said the average visitor stays 18 minutes. Now, is that them signing on once per day, multiple times per day? How do you quantify that?
So Google Analytics counts it, I believe, as a session duration. So I log in and I do stuff, and then I leave. It's 18 minutes. And then per day, if I do that a couple times, then it's that person does 2 visits, right? 1 unique, but 2 visits. So on average, people do 8 visits a month. They could be different days, they could be the same day. And because the average is so high, some people sit there for the entire trading day or for hours at a time. So it really depends on the style and what people are trying to get out of it.
All right, we've been on the line with Stan Bokov of the TradingView, and a favorite of Nick Shaheen. So if you want to check that out, go to TradingView.com. All right, we're going to let Stan go here. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks so much, guys. Pleasure. Take care.
All right, S&Ps are inching up here, up $1.75 at 23.70 in a quarter. I was looking at my trusty trader's almanac over the weekend, and I saw a statistic. The Monday before March triple witching, the Dow has been up 22 out of 29 sessions. So here we are trading in the green a little bit. A very unusual week, Dennis. We have a triple witch, and we have a Fed decision.
Lots of news potential, obviously, with what's going to happen with the Fed. I'm very curious here, and just like talking on Friday, we were talking to banks there, and I thought there might be a little reaction to a buy on, and then sell off after, and that's what happened on Friday. We saw it with the ADP report, and we saw it with the jobs report, and that's why you always look to history to try to figure out if it's going to repeat itself or not. So now you have everybody been buying the banks here because interest rates are going up for sure here. But again, if you see a run up here, like even a stock like Bank of America, it starts to get up to the 26. I feel like this is profit takers in there now. Every time it starts to get up there, some of these banks, they start to give it back. So we'll have to see if we get the run up ahead of the Fed decision. We know interest rates are going up. I know you were joking. Are you still sticking with your half? You think they could go a half, Joel?
I mean, everyone's beating me
You're
down.
the only one saying that.
Yeah, I'm the only one saying it, so I'll bow to the crowd. I mean, it would be nice just to get it over with.
If they did it, man, we're going to bow to you because that'd be impressive that you called that one of the only outliers that have called for the half. But, I mean, I think it's known we're going a quarter here. It's just a matter of, are we going a quarter again in June? Are we going to go a quarter 3-4 times this year as opposed to, a one and done?
All right, it is 8:42, and we're a few minutes late, but we're going to bring on Tommy Lackey, our Relativity Capital Advisors, to get his technical takes on the market. We'll be right back with Tommy. Welcome back, traders and investors, to Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep, brought to you by Benzinga Pro. We are on the line with Tommy Lackey of Relatively Capital Advisors, and Tommy's going to talk to us about the 65-minute chart here on the general markets. Tommy, how in the heck did you come up with a 65-minute chart?
Well, one of the big problems you always have with a 60-minute chart, everybody likes to look at hourlies, but if you're only looking at regular market hours, then you end up with one candle that's a half an hour. And the unfortunate part, as you were just talking to the gentleman from TradingView, is that every charting service handles that half an hour different. Some put it on the beginning of the day, some put it on the end of the day. And so it can really kind of mess up how those charts look. So probably 5-6 years ago, I learned the 65-minute from Brian Shannon at Alpha Trends, which I believe you guys have had on before. And he basically made a really good point that the good thing about a 65-minute is that it splits up the days in even increments. And therefore, you have clean charts going all the way through, and you can look at them on a longer-term basis.
That's why I like to go with the 15-minute chart, because the SPOOs close at 4:15 and then reopen at 6 p.m. So that gets us in there. But that's accomplished by the 5-minute as well. So what's the 65-minute chart telling you here on this big week with the Fed and the triple witch? What little hesitation in the market? What are you seeing?
Yeah, there's definitely hesitation in the market. We saw the breadth come down some during the first part of the week and then kind of shoot back up on Friday. The question is going to be, is that just due to the Fed number, the non-farm payroll numbers, or is it really more just people were, digesting what was there and starting to retake some moves once they got that behind them? Once everybody's pretty convinced, I guess, that they're raising this week or whatever event it is they wanted to focus on. But the reality of that is that we came down, and you came down in a nice little wedging fashion on the 65-minute charts into some good support, and then bounced off it pretty well Friday. Obviously, you need some continuation, but the daily charts never really broke down, so it put us in a position to where as much as the weekly on small caps last week didn't look great, as we came into the support, you watch those shorter term charts first and see if they start to shore up early this week.
Tommy, stock on your nitrous scan here. I'm just going to jump down to the bottom of a Coca-Cola KO. What's interesting here, and I just got a general question for you, and then you can tell us what you like about the chart. But Coke is ex-dividend here today, 37 cents. So 42.29 is the close. Adjusted close is 41.92. Now, on a stock like Coke, that can actually mess up your charts a little bit when you get like a 40-cent dividend, because Coke often only moves 15, 20 cents a day. Do you look at the ex-dividend dates? And how do you, or do you just ignore that altogether and you just look at the chart?
Well, you got to know when it's going to be, especially on this. And actually, in the old days when I used to trade some of the mortgage REITs, you definitely have to know when they are when you're talking a 4, 5, 6%, even 10 or 12% dividend.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the charting services do not do dividend adjusted. So I have one service that does dividend adjusted, one service that doesn't. But Coke isn't something I'm really going to be trading for a short-term 5 or 10% move anyway. So once you let the dividend know, it's there, let it get settled in for the day, and then you pick your spot.
Jumping over. Well, what do you like about the Coke chart before I went ex-dividend here?
Well, the thing I do like about the Coke chart is it looks like it's moving out of that little bottoming consolidation, and then now it's kind of come back and back tested a little bit. So if we can move back over those highs about 43.80-ish, 42.80-ish, I think you could see this keep moving. The only thing that I don't like is there's a bigger level right up there at 43, and then also the options flow in this one is kind of mixed.
Here's a stock that has had a nice run, NRG. This stock has moved this year from the $12 area all the way up to $17.86 is where it closed here on Friday. So that's just talking a nice little 50% move here, really, in the last 2 months here. What are you seeing here, NRG?
Well, actually, it's been the last, basically 2.5 months, but look at it during February. At the end of January through the end of or early March, it's pretty much been in a box. And so it's had a month-long or longer sideways consolidation that just started moving out of last Thursday. And so this is one that between this and some bullish positioning, options positioning, looks like it could see another leg. And if you flip back to the weekly chart on this, this level right here at 18 is huge. I mean, it gets over this level here at 18, and it's got good room up to probably almost 24.
Jumping over here just to a couple other stocks on your nitrous scan. NKTR. What are you seeing on this one?
Yeah, this is one that I don't know much about the company, but you saw the big surge a week and a half ago or so, and then it pulled back a few days and then surged back up to those highs. So this is one you got to be a little careful with because it seems kind of volatile. But if it gets over those tails that are from that initial surge, I think this one could run another leg up. And the next spot here that looks like it would stall, if it gets over that level, is probably in the 17 area.
Home builder, Meritage Homes, MTH on your nitrous scan.
Yeah, this is one that, you might want to be careful with, but yet I always like to look at these is when you've got a sector like that that's been moving like home builders have, and then you have one like this that has been kind of lagging a little bit, but now it's hitting the nitrous and it looks like it might be starting to wake up. You pay good attention to this because you could get a catch-up move. This one has some resistance above up into the area of around 40, but it gets over 40 and it really, I bet, moves fast if it can clear that area as a catch-up play.
Last one on the nitrous scan, EVC. So it's Edward Victor Charlie, Entravision Communications.
Yeah, really little play. If I remember correctly, I'm not looking at it right in a second, but it was pretty high short float as well. But you got a nice little tightening pennant type thing here that you could do a look both ways plays to where if it breaks down below, say, 6, you look on the short side. If it breaks above, I'm not sure the number I wrote, but I'd say about 628, 29, then you're going to probably have another leg higher on this one, up to around the 200 moving average is around 675.
Out of the chat room here, Tommy, we got NRZ, and it operates a REIT with an 11% dividend. I looked at this one last week, and it's had a nice run. Dennis, you might want to comment this on, too. It's just when something has that high of a dividend, it just makes you a little scared. But, man, this chart looks good. It's been moving straight up. $17 resistance level. Any opinions on this REIT with an 11% dividend?
Yeah, I actually spoke with a client about it on Friday, and basically it's a scenario to where it has been in a good trend. It's handled things well, and the one thing you need to realize about these residential REITs, and I might turn it over to Dennis because he might be able to either tell me I'm wrong or know better, but from my experience, you run into scenarios to where A, they can carry double-digit dividends, and then B, a lot of times how they're positioned for interest rate rises and falls and all that, and how abrupt or quick they are versus telegraphed allows these guys to really put themselves in pretty good positions. So, this one might still pull back a little bit, maybe for a back test to around the 1630, 1640 area, but it doesn't look terrible. And if you look a little closer at their background, if they are positioned well for how interest rates move, they can potentially sustain that dividend.
And one thing to always consider is the ex-dividend dates on these as well, because when they do go ex-dividend, they do often, gap down in the chart significantly there, and they often see a run-up ahead of the ex-dividend dates as well, just because everybody's buying these things for the dividend. I mean, the company itself is in the business of paying a dividend. That's what they're doing with all their cash flow. That's why they're REITs, so they're in the business of giving out those dividends. So it's, there's nothing more than, the dividend capture traders. There's a lot of them that play these things, and I think the next dividend for this one is just quickly looking is at the end of the month. So you're only about 2 weeks away from there. So I always get kind of hesitant shorting a stock with a big dividend a week or two ahead of the ex-dividend date, because sometimes those dividend capture players will come in early for the potential dividend. But then the wild card on this one, obviously, is the Fed decision on Wednesday. And we know this is going to move probably the opposite direction of what the banks are going to do, because the banks want interest rate hikes and stocks like this do not.
Though, and I'm gonna be very interested to watch that and like the TLT this week and all that as we get closer, because I'm very interested to see, based on the action that we've seen anyway, that even if we do get a raise, if we don't maybe get some counter trend or some sell the news type information
might be priced
on that
in.
one, but it's only time will tell. I'm not making that as a big call, but I think it's something we should all be open-minded to.
Yeah, it could be priced in.
Beacon Roofing Supply Company. They must be doing a lot of roofs lately here. Rob Hood wants to know what you think about it. Stuck its head over 48 on Friday, closed at 47.72. Another double top just above that at the $48 level. I'd just say 48.15, Rob. That's my number if you want to see a run up to the all-time high at 49 and change.
Yeah, and that's kind of the key. I think I agree with you that if you're not already in, you probably ought to wait and see how it handles as we're so close as it is. However, if you got in last few days, you're in a great position. And I like these types of setups, as we talked about before, that seem to have these little minor consolidations right below larger breakout levels. I always liken it to the cartoon characters that start kind of spinning their feet and all that before they take off running really fast. That's what I consider these little consolidations, is kind of that spin up for them to get the energy up to break through.
All right, I'm going to do a couple more with you here. And in the meltdown filter, Uncle Carl stock, IEP. We talk about this one quite a bit. We know the net asset value is quite a bit lower in here. What are you looking to? A punch through that 52 and change low, and it looks wide open here on the downside. What are you seeing in IEP?
Yeah, and basically it just fell below all the important moving averages last week, the 200 and 150 included, gap down. It's just one of those areas to where with knowing the premium to NAV there, how do you justify buying something that's in a consistent downtrend? I mean, it's not like you can say, oh, there's good support here because it's got a good balance sheet, because we're just not there.
All right, and Netflix, good open interest above this week, consolidating well in a VAP area. What's a VAP area?
Volume at price.
Okay.
And TradingView has a great version of that. Some others, I don't use TradingView right now. I'm thinking about taking a look, so maybe he wants to get in touch with me. But basically, with that scenario, the volume at price is where you have the side volume bars. Instead of being underneath the price on a time schedule, they're basically up beside the pricing action on the chart, and they come out and show you how much volume is accumulated at a certain price level. And when you start seeing very heavy VAP bars in different areas, those can provide support themselves. Just because so many people are involved at that area, they're willing to defend it.
We've been on the line with Tommy Lackey of Relativity Capital Advisors, joining us here on Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep. Tommy, thanks for coming on a little bit later. Great insight as usual, and we should have a lot to talk about next Monday.
Thanks, guys. Everybody have a great week. Good luck out there.
8:56 or 7:56 if you haven't changed your clock for daylight savings yet. Dennis, imbalances.
Yeah, we got some interesting ones here. So Bristol Myers, 146,000 to sell. That is significant here. BMY has been on a tear. Ooh. I mean, a lot of the drug stocks have come back, but if you look BMY here now, if you're coming in here buying it now, man, there is some overhead supply at 60. I mean, we broke down here a couple of times. We obviously broke down here back in July and went all the way down to the 40s, and we came all the way back to the 60s, back down to the 40s. Now it looks like we're trying to come back to that 60 area there again. I'd say major resistance up there though. So if you come in here, I think you're late to the party. Some institution looks like they're trying to take some profits here, selling 146,000 shares.
That's big.
At the open today. That's a big order for
Why
BMY,
aren't you out there?
Sure.
Why aren't you out there?
Why I'm not out there?
Hitting it. I mean, it's got to open lower. Where's it offered at?
It's offered 58.31. Best bids at 58.14. But do you want to hit something down 20 cents of pharmaceutical stock? I don't know. You're giving up a little bit of an edge because the market's flat. So I don't like giving up edges. Obviously, you got 1,000 shares, another 1,000 shares that are saying, yeah, we believe in it's going to open lower, and we would be willing to sell there. But I don't know if I'm willing to hit a 58.14 bid.
That's an impressive move for BMY here. Straight up, and that's kind of going anti-Trump. Oh, I also just wanted to look at the IBB. We got that tweet, on Wednesday or Thursday. Man, still just hanging out at the $300 level. Is it time to just go crazy with a 310, 350 call spread and something like this, Dennis? Hanging above 300 here for a long time.
It's a great point, and this has been like the magnet level here for the last 2 years, really. If you want to go back, multiple times we breached 300, and then eventually we came back down, and then old support becomes new resistance. We tested 300 a
That's
bunch
big.
of times in July and August of 2016, even back in September of 2016. We tested, we kept failing. We're back up here again now. I mean, we've been up here so many times, you wonder eventually if it doesn't break out. So, I agree here. I think there's going to be a move here eventually. The drugs have been, there's been a turn in a lot of the drugs, and you can look at the individual charts, and that can tell you a little bit of a story as well. Sometimes when you look at the index, you're trying to feel, can we break out here? Sometimes it's good to look at the individual components on those on that ETF and to see if those look like they're going to go individually. I mean, Biogen is one of the biggest components there. It's come well off the lows from 260 and been consolidating here just around the 290 area. It looks like it could, if it got up above 300, we'd be off to the races there again. Celgene has come back a long way. CLG, well, obviously one of your biggest, most favorite biotechs out there, is not even that far off of all-time highs. I mean, drugs have been killed, but if you want to talk, Celgene is actually only about $15 off its all-time high. Gilead obviously is the dog of the whole sector there. I own in my investment portfolio. I own all of those in my investment portfolio, but Gilead has not been a good one. It's been a value trap there, and they need to find some growth. And there was rumors that they might be looking, at Insight, I think it was last week. So lots of rumors that Gilead's going to do a big purchase because they got some cash. But biotechs overall, I think, are kind of a sleeping giant.
All right, one more here. In Cajun 1, Finisar is being upgraded by Raymond James here. Now, this is kind of opposite of analysts chasing
Oh,
price.
yeah.
Yeah, this is analysts supporting price here. Boy, oh boy, you took out that major support at 28. You had a bunch of lows there, so I don't know if I'd rush out and buy this today, but if this can get some stability back above 28 and hold that was just a one-day aberration when they took it down to 26.70, I might get interested. But they're just trying to buy low on this one instead of selling low.
I mean, you look at a chart like this. I like it when the analysts come out. We always say, they're like lemmings when they, a stock gaps down that much and they all come out with the downgrades the next day. But they're making a bold call. So I'll give them props for coming and sticking their, necks out here. Obviously, in an area where a lot of people came in to sell. So they're making a bold call here and saying this is the bottom. So good on them. I don't know if they're right or not. 200,000 shares have already traded here. I wouldn't be making that call, I don't think, on this. But you got a low now, 26.77. That was low from Friday. So that's a level that absolutely needs to hold. It's getting a little bit of bounce with the upgrade. Comes back to retest, you could try it, but if it takes that out, I don't think I want to own it.
And closed right near the low, 26.98, a low of 6.77. So, just keep an eye. Just keep an eye on that close of 26.98. All right, Spencer, we made it through here. The hour daylight savings. What's on the deck for tomorrow?
3 guests tomorrow: Kevin Kleinman from Watch Him Trade, Nick Shaheen, and then Yaron Golger from I Know First. So looking forward to Kevin, Nick, and Yaron tomorrow. If you missed any part of today's show, catch the whole thing again on our podcast on iTunes, SoundCloud, or Stitcher. Or you can just replay the show on YouTube if you'd like. That's it for us today. Please remember that all the information, material, and content from our show is for informational purposes only and not meant to be investing advice. Have a good rest of your Monday, everyone. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow.
Whether you're a short-term swing trader or a long-term investor, you need to check out Thinkorswim, brought to you by TD Ameritrade. There's a reason why Thinkorswim has been named the #1 trading platform, because it has it all. With Thinkorswim, you can trade stocks, options, futures, forex, and virtually every other type of order. Get notifications on mobile devices and interact with other traders in chat rooms. You can also use technical indicators and see the latest investing and trading education in Think Money magazine. If you want to keep up with the markets, you need Thinkorswim. To experience everything Thinkorswim has to offer, open a TD Ameritrade account today. Thinkorswim, the online trading platform for traders and investors. TD Ameritrade, member SIPC. All investing involves risks.